Hey there. Today we're diving into a story that's captivated historians for centuries. It's Alexander the Great's Siege of Tyre.
This one, it's a story of, well, relentless determination, strategic brilliance, and overcoming obstacles that seemed completely insurmountable.
And what's remarkable is how relevant this ancient siege remains, even in our modern world.
It really
It
is.
offers timeless lessons
Timeless.
in leadership, problem solving, and adaptability.
And we can apply those lessons to our own lives.
Oh, absolutely. Whether we're facing challenges in business, our personal lives, or any other arena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so set the scene for us. Tyre wasn't just some easy target, right?
No, not at all. Tyre was a major powerhouse in the ancient world. It was a thriving island city, a hub for the Phoenicians.
And the Phoenicians, they were known for their maritime prowess
That's right.
and trade networks that stretched across the Mediterranean.
Imagine a city so strategically positioned, with walls rising directly from the sea,
It was considered virtually impregnable.
virtually impregnable.
So why was conquering Tyre so important for Alexander? What was the strategic significance?
Well, to understand that, we have to remember the bigger picture of Alexander's ambitions. He wasn't just aiming for, local victories. He was on a quest to conquer the Persian Empire.
The largest and most powerful empires
Yes,
the world had ever seen.
exactly. And controlling the Mediterranean was crucial for this goal.
Okay.
And Tyre stood as a critical obstacle in his path. It was a Persian stronghold. And as long as Tyre remained unconquered, Alexander's control over the region, it remained tenuous.
So it was a bit like a game of Risk, where you
Right.
needed to control certain territories to advance.
Exactly, exactly. And Tyre was a prime piece of real estate in that game. Conquering it wasn't just about the city itself. It was about sending a message, solidifying his control, and clearing a path for further expansion.
But as you can imagine, conquering an island city as fortified as Tyre was no easy feat.
No.
So how did Alexander even begin to tackle this seemingly impossible task? I mean, did he just sail up to their front door and knock?
Well, a direct naval assault was the obvious approach. But the Tyrians, they were masters of the sea.
Right.
Their navy was a force to be reckoned with,
Yeah.
and they were well prepared for that kind of attack.
So Alexander's advisors
In fact, many of them seasoned military minds.
urged him to cut his losses
Yes.
and bypass Tyre altogether.
They argued that the risks far outweighed the potential rewards, that it would be a costly distraction from his main campaign.
So it sounds like they were saying, pick your battles.
Yeah.
But that's not really Alexander's style, is it?
You're right. Alexander was known for his audacity, his unwavering belief in his own abilities. He understood that while some obstacles can be bypassed, others need to be confronted head-on to achieve a larger goal. He recognized that Tyre wasn't just a fortress. It represented a challenge to his authority, one he couldn't ignore without jeopardizing his entire campaign.
So what did he do? If sailing up to their doorstep wasn't an option, how do you even begin to attack an island fortress?
This is where we see Alexander's, genius for innovative problem solving. He decided, in a move that shocked many, to build a causeway, essentially a massive land bridge stretching from the mainland to the island.
A land bridge? Hold on, are we talking about a bridge like made of boats?
Yeah.
Or like an actual solid ground kind of bridge? Because
Okay.
that sounds intense.
It was absolutely intense, a feat of engineering that would be impressive even by today's standards. Imagine this. Thousands of men working tirelessly, transporting rocks, timber, and earth into the sea, all the while under constant threat from the Tyrians.
Because, of course, the Tyrians weren't just going to sit back and watch it
Yeah.
happen, right?
Absolutely not. They launched relentless attacks, using fire ships, vessels loaded with flammable materials and set ablaze to try to burn the partially constructed causeway. It was a constant battle of construction versus destruction, with lives lost on both sides.
Yeah, it's almost unfathomable, isn't it?
Huh?
To be out there day and night, facing down attacks, knowing that your hard work could be destroyed in an instant. Talk about pressure. I can't even imagine trying to focus on laying bricks with, flaming ships hurtling towards me. They must have been questioning Alexander's sanity, right?
Oh, I'm sure there were doubts. But here's where leadership makes all the difference. Alexander was known for his charisma, his ability to inspire his troops. He was often found on the front lines, facing the same dangers as his men, boosting morale. This wasn't just about giving orders from a distance. It was about shared risk, shared commitment to a larger vision.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If your leader's willing to put in the same level of sweat and risk, it's hard not to get behind the mission, right? But even with unwavering determination, this causeway, it wasn't a quick fix, was it?
No, not at all. The siege dragged on for months, a grueling test of endurance and willpower for both sides. And just when it seemed like Alexander's forces were gaining the upper hand, the Tyrians, they launched a new wave of attacks, this time exploiting their naval superiority. They bombarded the causeway, inflicting heavy casualties, threatening to halt its progress entirely.
So they're stuck in this, stalemate. Alexander's land forces can't reach the city, and the Tyrians are trapped, but have the advantage at sea. What happens next?
This is where we see Alexander's strategic brilliance on full display. He recognizes that his initial plan, while bold, needs to adapt to this new challenge. He understands that to overcome this obstacle, he needs to change the game entirely.
Okay, so what does he do? Become a shipbuilder overnight.
In a sense, yes. Alexander realizes that he needs to counter Tyre's naval dominance. So he does something that, at first glance, seems almost impossible given the circumstances. He assembles a navy.
But how? Building a fleet of warships takes time, resources, expertise. Did he have some secret stash of ships hidden somewhere?
He certainly didn't pull them out of thin air. Remember how we talked about Tyre's strategic importance in the region? Well, their dominance had made them some enemies along the way. Alexander, ever the shrewd strategist, leverages his alliances with other cities in the region, cities who had their own scores to settle with Tyre and saw an opportunity in Alexander's ambition.
Oh, interesting. So it's like he's playing this high-stakes game of diplomacy, calling in favors, forming alliances at a critical moment.
Precisely. He rallies support from his allies in Cyprus, Phoenicia, and elsewhere, and they provide him with the ships and manpower he needs to challenge the Tyrian fleet. It's a powerful reminder that even the most ambitious goals are often achieved not in isolation, but through collaboration, through recognizing that we don't always have to go it alone.
It makes you think about teamwork and collaboration in a whole new light. Sometimes, knowing when to ask for help and leveraging the strengths of others is the most strategic move you can make.
Absolutely. And the shift to a naval strategy, it wasn't just about countering a threat, it was about flipping the script entirely. By establishing naval superiority, Alexander could cut off Tyre's supply lines, preventing them from receiving reinforcements or provisions. It was a classic siege tactic, but one that required incredible foresight and adaptability on Alexander's part.
It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He's thinking several moves ahead, anticipating challenges, and adjusting his approach accordingly.
And that's a key takeaway from the story. In any endeavor, whether it's leading a military campaign or launching a new business venture, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, to be agile and innovative in the face of unexpected obstacles is crucial for success.
So the tide is turning. Alexander's got this newly formed navy.
Right.
He's cut off Tyre's supply lines. You got to think that the Tyrians are starting to feel the pressure.
Oh, definitely.
But they've also withstood this siege for months.
They have. They're resilient.
What happens next?
You're right. The Tyrians were a resilient bunch. Even facing dwindling resources and a now superior enemy force, they weren't giving up. Their walls, remember, were still some of the most formidable defenses in the ancient world.
Okay, so we're at, the final showdown.
Yes.
Alexander's built this causeway, assembled a navy, and he's finally in a position to launch a direct attack. But these walls, they're still a massive obstacle. Did he just throw everything he had at them? Hope for the best.
That kind of brute force rarely works against a well-defended enemy.
Right.
And Alexander knew that. Instead, he once again turned to innovation, to creative problem-solving. His engineers, who had already proven their ingenuity with the causeway, now focused their talents on designing siege weapons, the likes of which the world had rarely seen.
Okay, let's talk siege weapons. We're talking, battering rams,
Right.
catapults.
Yeah.
What else did they pull out of their bag of tricks?
Picture this. Towering siege towers, some reaching over 150 feet high, built on rolling platforms so they could be maneuvered right up against Tyre's walls. These weren't just, lumbering structures. They were designed with incredible precision, equipped with not only battering rams to weaken the wall, but also platforms for archers to rain down arrows on the defenders.
150 feet high. That's like a small skyscraper being wheeled towards your city walls.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it must have felt like to be like a defender inside Tyre, seeing these things approaching.
I know, it's hard to fathom. The psychological impact of such a sight, it can't be overstated, but beyond their size and intimidation factor, these siege towers were like engineering marvels. They were designed to withstand the constant barrage of stones and arrows launched by the Tyrian defenders. Some even had, like, protective coverings made of hides soaked in water to make them fire resistant.
It's amazing how they combined like brute force with ingenuity.
Yes.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions come from finding that balance between power and intelligent design.
Exactly.
And this combination proved to be too much. For even Tyre's defenses, the constant bombardment from the siege engines, coupled with the relentless assaults from Alexander's troops, eventually they breached the once impenetrable wall. After months of siege, facing setbacks, adapting to challenges, Alexander's forces finally broke through.
They did. It was quite a decisive moment.
I imagine that was a decisive moment, not just for the campaign, but for Alexander himself.
It certainly was. The fall of Tyre, it sent shockwaves throughout the ancient world. It cemented Alexander's reputation as a brilliant military strategist, a leader who could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. But it also, holds profound lessons for us today. We've
You
talked
think?
about the importance of adaptability, of creative problem solving, but the Siege of Tyre also highlights something equally important: the power of vision.
What do you mean by that?
Alexander, he could have listened to his advisors. He could have chosen the easier path, bypassed Tyre, focused on other targets. But he understood that some challenges, even if they seem insurmountable, they need to be confronted, not just for the immediate victory, but for the larger vision they represent. Conquering Tyre, it wasn't just about one city. It was about demonstrating an unwavering commitment to a goal, about setting a standard for what was possible.
So it's about having that big picture thinking,
Yes.
that unwavering belief in something larger than yourself.
Mm.
And that's something that resonates even today in all aspects of life, whether you're leading a team at work, pursuing a personal goal, or just trying to navigate the challenges of everyday life. Having that clarity of vision, that unwavering commitment can be the difference between, success and failure.
It really can. The story of Alexander the Great's Siege of Tyre, it's a powerful reminder that while obstacles are inevitable, our ability to overcome them, it's a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the unwavering pursuit of a vision.
Well, this deep dive into history has given us a lot to think about.
Mhm.
It's a story that continues to inspire, challenge, and offer valuable lessons for anyone facing their own seemingly insurmountable obstacle.
It really does.
This has been an incredible deep dive into one of history's most captivating sieges. Thank you for joining us.